Let me ask you a question. Have you ever opened a book, read 10 pages, and then realized you can't remember a single word? You try again. You highlight, you make notes, you even drink coffee. But after an hour, you feel exhausted and forget everything anyway. Now imagine this. A man walks into a library, opens a thick book, thousands of pages, and reads it just once. Not twice, not thrice, just once. And he remembers every single word. That man was Swami Vivekananda. When people talk about his powerful speeches, his spiritual genius, his bravery, they often forget something extraordinary: his mind, his memory, his razor-sharp intellect. He could read a book once and recite it back page by page. He could hear a person speak in another language and absorb the meaning without translation. He wasn't born with a super brain. He built it. And in this video, I will show you how to develop a memory like Swami Vivekananda. Stay with me until the end. Because what you're about to hear is not taught in schools. It's not in memory courses. It's not even what modern psychology tells you. This is deeper. This is the science of the soul. Let's begin. Vivekananda once said, "All knowledge is within. It requires only an awakening." He believed that your mind is not a storage device. It is a mirror of the soul. Most of us treat the brain like a hard drive. We try to download data through repetition. We cram. We struggle. But Vivekananda saw memory not as retention, but as recollection. He said the soul already knows. Your job is to remove the dust of distraction. So the first principle is this: memory is not built by force. It is awakened by focus. Let me explain. When Vivekananda read a book, he didn't skim, he didn't scroll, he didn't multitask. He gave the book his entire being, one-pointed awareness. In yoga, this is called ekagrata, single-minded concentration. He wrote, "The main difference between the ordinary mind and the genius is this concentration. Not talent, not birth, concentration." So how do you build that? Let me give you the exact technique Swami Vivekananda practiced. It's deceptively simple, but incredibly powerful. He would sit alone in a quiet room, no noise, no distraction, and focus on one object. Sometimes a rose, sometimes a dot, sometimes just his breath. He would try to hold that focus without allowing a single thought to interrupt. When thoughts came, he didn't fight them. He observed and returned. Day by day, this sharpened his focus like a sword. Now here's where it gets powerful. When he read a book after this practice, his attention was like a laser. The brain doesn't need to read something 10 times. It needs to receive it fully once. Let me pause and ask you, when was the last time you did one thing with total attention? Not while checking your phone, not while thinking of the past or future, but with the full force of your presence. If you want a memory like Vivekananda, you must learn to be present like Vivekananda. This is not philosophy. This is spiritual neuroscience. Now let me tell you a story. It was the late 1800s. Swami Vivekananda was in Kashmir, traveling with a few disciples. He was handed a book on philosophy. It was complex, deep, filled with Sanskrit and commentary. Most people would take weeks to finish it. Vivekananda read it once, and days later, when someone challenged him on a concept, he recited the exact line, chapter, and commentary from memory. The disciples were stunned. They asked him, "How did you remember all that?" He smiled and said, "If the mind is pure and concentrated, knowledge flows in like a river. No struggle, no memorization. Just clarity." Here's the second secret. Purify your mind, and your memory will awaken. But what does purify mean? Let me break it down. Swami Vivekananda practiced brahmacharya, not just celibacy, but mental discipline. He avoided gossip, overindulgence, distraction, and unnecessary talk. He protected his mind like a temple. Because whatever you feed the mind, it remembers. Garbage in, garbage out. So if you want to develop a sharp memory, you must treat your mind like a sacred flame. Feed it truth, stillness, focus. Not clutter, not noise, not endless scrolling. That's how he lived. And that's why his mind was so powerful. Let's go deeper. There's a hidden layer to all of this. Vivekananda taught that memory is linked to identity. Listen closely. You become what you think about, all day long. So what are you thinking about? Your worries? Your image? Your insecurities? Swami Vivekananda didn't think of himself as a man reading a book. He thought of himself as the soul absorbing eternal knowledge. He identified with the Atman, the divine self. This shifted his entire mental structure. If you see yourself as scattered, weak, distracted, you act accordingly. But if you see yourself as a focused, divine, disciplined being, your brain will respond. This is not imagination, this is identity programming. Modern neuroscience now says the same thing. Identity drives behavior. But Vivekananda knew it 100 years ago. So here's a practice. Every morning, look in the mirror and declare, I am not this restless mind. I am the soul, silent, powerful, focused. Say it. Mean it. Live it. You are not trying to remember better, you are remembering who you really are. Now, a practical tip. Swami Vivekananda trained his memory using mental visualization. When he read a line, he didn't just read the words, he saw it. He visualized it, he imagined the scene, the ideas, the emotions. This created a deep neural imprint. You can do the same. Next time you read something, pause after every paragraph. Close your eyes. Visualize what you just read. Create a mental picture. Then move on. This simple habit will revolutionize your memory. Now let me tell you something that most people won't believe. Swami Vivekananda once said, "My memory is so good, I can recall what I read years ago as if I read it today." How? He explained, the key is not letting the mind get too many impressions at once. He didn't overload, he didn't multitask. He believed in depth over speed. If you study deeply, even a little, you'll remember far more than if you cram endlessly. So stop trying to read more, start trying to absorb more. Before we close, let me remind you, Swami Vivekananda was not a machine. He had human struggles. He got tired, he faced doubt, but he trained his mind like a warrior trains his sword. Daily, quietly, relentlessly, and so can you. To develop a sharp memory like Swami Vivekananda, practice daily concentration, purify your inputs, what you watch, hear, say. Visualize what you study. Identify as a powerful soul, not a distracted self. Do one thing at a time, with complete attention, and most importantly, trust your inner power to awaken, because it's already there. Waiting. As he said, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. The goal is clarity, the goal is focus, the goal is mastery of your own divine mind, and it all begins now. Thank you for watching. If this video moved you, inspired you, or made you reflect, share it, because the world doesn't need more information. It needs more remembrance of who we are, of what we can be, of what lives inside us. Swami Vivekananda lit that fire. Now it's your turn. Subscribe, reflect, and rise.